Join me right now is UFC Featherweight Damon Jackson. Damon, thank you so much for the time, man. I see you are busy living the
Busy,
father life, man.
busy. Yeah,
Yeah, there you
busy.
go. There you go. Let's jump right into it. September 19th, days notice, you step into the octagon, you submit Mirsad Bektik. You scream something at him after the finish. Did you finally get to figure out what you said?
Yeah, so and it makes sense because I was like, get in my face, and I was like, number 15 in the world, what's up? Like, just because that I was amped up, but definitely not my most proud moment, but it is what it is. I was amped up, and I didn't say anything crazy though, but I did actually hear the clean audio.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said. Yeah,
Well, it's understandable, man. You went in there
yeah.
and got the biggest win of your career so far.
Yeah, no, it was huge. It was a big moment all around. It was really cool that that Sean gave me the opportunity because that's what I wanted. I wanted to have a big fight like that coming in because it's just like, I don't want to come in on someone else's debut. I don't want to come in and like, take anything away from anyone or, do anything like that. I just wanted to prove myself and prove to everyone else that, I can compete with them. So,
Definitely. Now, I was reading that you've been a purple belt for 10 years now. Did you finally get a brown
yeah.
belt? What's going on with that situation?
Nah, no, I probably won't. I don't know. I say I had to find a jiu-jitsu guy, coach, I guess, a professor that's gonna absolutely destroy me, and then I would accept a new belt from him. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna, I'll keep my purple belt. And if anybody asks me, I'll just keep saying I'm a purple belt. And if someone comes forward and like wants to, put me through that process and show me what a black belt is. It is what it is. But right now, I just kind of feel like you go out there. I've been doing it for so long that it's just like I'll grapple with anyone. I'll do. I'll go to any tournament and do whatever, and I'll compete as a black belt if I have to or whatever. But I just I don't really care. Definitely, it's not on my top list. But maybe one day I'll be a black belt.
No doubt. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen real soon. Now, you've been through a lot of peaks and valleys throughout your career. How did you dig yourself out of those low moments and keep yourself pushing? Because I think that's the most important thing as a fighter is to get over those humps.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's been a lot of ups and downs. I think that the sport itself is pretty crazy, but I definitely have went through a lot of like highs and lows that I haven't seen a lot of people go through the same thing. But everybody's got their own journey, man. And it's just something that I set out to do from the beginning was to make it to the UFC and become a champion, and that's what I want. And my goals never changed. I think really it's just the commitment is why I made it back, and just staying focused on that is what kept me like in those low moments where I did lose outside the UFC twice, and after doing that, it was like if you ask anyone, they're gonna tell you that you have no chance of getting back in. But I just kind of knew that at some point in time I was going to get a big fight and I was going to get some big wins and get myself in a position to get back. And so that's kind of what I was doing the whole time, was just trying to fight anyone that would fight me and fight tough fights and do anything I could to get back. And whenever Corona hit, this has just been nuts anyways for everyone. But for MMA, it is just throwing everything up in the air. Like you just kind of day notice, 2 day notice, 3 day notice. Like you got to be ready for anything. And you got to be ready to fight too. And I think that I'm happy that I got to show that to people too. Is that when you choose this as a career, you choose this as your job, your profession. You got to be willing to show up when they ask you to show up, and that they needed someone big time for that fight because Mirsad, he definitely wanted to fight. He was coming off 2 losses and a long layoff, so he was ready to fight. And so they were pretty motivated to get him a fight, and that's why they brought me in, because I don't think Sean, the matchmaker Shelby, I don't think he was like really wanting to bring me in at the time. It was just like no one else would take the fight, and I'm willing to fight anyone, and I'll step up whenever.
You somewhat make him look like a genius for bringing you in.
Yeah, no, I mean, but dude, the guy he's been doing it forever. Like if you looked at, I'm trying to remember, I don't remember everybody's name, but like if you were to go back and look at the guys that he brought in for the past like 3 months before my fight, or maybe 2 months before, he brought in a handful of fights that if you were to look at them on paper, you'd be like, there's no way. And then they ended up winning on short notice too. So I wasn't the only one that, came in. I mean, you look at the guy I'm about to fight, IIia Topuria. Like, you look at him, he came in on a 3-day notice and he beat, or an 8-day notice and beat Zalal. Like, there's tough guys outside the UFC. You can't deny that. Like, there's definitely, there is other promotions and whatever, but like people that haven't never made it into like a major promotion, there's some tough guys out there. Like, we have guys at our gym that are freaking like 1-0, 2-0 that are like doing rounds with me to help me get ready for my fight. Like, we have like tough guys and they're everywhere. Like, it's just the sport's growing so much, and it's really cool to see how much it's evolved. And whenever I first started, my wrestling was like, that's what carried me through all my fights. And then I started learning jiu-jitsu, and then I started doing a little bit of boxing, and then it just kind of progressed to now. It's like everyone comes in and everyone is at least a blue belt when they start MMA now. And then like whenever they get in the clinch, they completely are comfortable with taking the knees and taking all the dirty boxing and stuff like that. Like people just have evolved so much, and the sport's really going in a good direction, for the fans for sure.
Yeah, we're at a good moment right now for the sport, and you said
Yeah.
after that last fight, you're interested to return in November. Was it just difficult to get matched up, and that's why you got set for December?
No, I mean, it was just like by the time that I fought, November cards were already being filled, like they were already done, so it's kind of like I wanted to fight. I was begging for a fight. Same thing with Illa, or is it Illa or Lilla? I don't know. I think it's Illa Topuria. He was begging for a fight too, because he was like, "Oh, that's not the best I can be. I want to come out and do it again." So I think that's kind of why Sean was like, "All right, you guys fight each other," because we were both begging for fights. So and that just shows that he's game too. We're both game, and this is like, as soon as this fight's over, I'll be looking for another fight. I'm not gonna sit on the shelf, for months at a time and not ask for a fight at least. If they don't give me a fight, they don't give me a fight. But if they give me a fight or they need me to fight, I'll be ready.
When the analysts look at this matchup, they're thinking like you came in and beat Bektik, who is a name in the division, and then they give you a guy that just debuted, and it almost doesn't make sense. But for you, you don't care. It's just like, I need to fight.
No, I need to fight and I want to fight, but this dude came in, he beat Zalal. If you go back and look at Zalal, he was on a 3-fight win streak, and he had a lot of momentum, and this kid came in and beat him, and it wasn't like a dominant, one-sided, victory. Like, there was ups and downs for sure, but like, you look at my fight, it's not like I just went out there and dominated Bektik. It's just everybody, I'm still proving myself. I made it back to the UFC, and that's great and everything, and it shows how focused I am or whatever. But it's just like I still have a lot to prove, and if I'm asking for a fight and they give me a fight, I can't say that I don't want to fight this guy, because he has nothing to lose. He's got plenty to lose because he wants to stay active. He's young. He wants to prove himself. I want to prove myself again. I want to put myself back in that mix of being in the top 20 instead of number 28 or 26, whatever I am. I want to be in that top 20 after this fight. I want to be in the top 15 before the summer next year, and then I want to be in the top 10 before the year's up next year. So I'm gonna stay ready to fight, and I'll just be ready. As soon as they start making matchups in my weight class, I'll be on that list for sure.
Topuria, when you look at the matchup, what do you believe separates you from him?
You could definitely say experience for sure. I have quite a bit more fights than him, but like, the kid, he's a tough grappler, and you can't ever overlook that. He's got great wrestling. What I see from him that is definitely a threat for anyone's style is the fact that he transitions his submissions really well. Like, he'll go for a submission, as soon as he's about to lose it, he goes to another and another, and that's really impressive for him not having that many fights. And because there's a lot of guys that are really good at jiu-jitsu, but if you can't be really good at MMA jiu-jitsu, then it's kind of pointless to have jiu-jitsu. And he has really good MMA jiu-jitsu where he's transitioning, and he's still throwing some solid shots too. So I think that experience-wise, I'll be able to mix it up, and keep him active on the feet, and then on the ground, I can hang with anyone on the ground. So I'll definitely be ready wherever it goes. And wherever, I choose to take the fight or he chooses to take the fight, it's going to be forward pressure from both of us the whole time.
Now this time around, it's not days notice. You have a
Yeah.
training camp to prepare for your
Yep.
opponent. How have you
Yep.
structured the camp?
Like the biggest thing was like, originally whenever I first got that fight, it was like I was so worried about getting corona. Like I was like not wrestling, not doing jiu-jitsu, not getting close to people at all. Like I was barely even sparring for that fight. So this fight, I just kind of was like, dude, like I've been around corona, so many times and around so many people that have confirmed had it. And I'm like, if I haven't gotten it by now, like I'm just gonna keep doing it until, if I get it, I get it. I'm just kind of like trying to not play it as safe, because at first I was playing it way too safe, and I definitely wasn't ready. Even though it was a short notice, I just wasn't ready. And it's nice to get back in the room and to wrestle and to do jiu-jitsu every single day of the week, and to be in there, boxing and doing my normal sparring, like with my full team, not just with like one or two guys. So I'll definitely be ready, and I'm sure that this kid's gonna be ready too, because he came in on his last fight was a short notice, so he'll be ready to go.
I was just like you. I was just like you. In the beginning, I was over paranoid, and now it's just like,
Yeah.
man, you can't control it. It's like you got to live your life
You
and
can't,
continue.
because I've seen people that have been like sheltered in their house, and they had to have got like from the grocery store or from like going to get a Starbucks or like something random, because like they haven't done anything. And I'm like, I don't want to sit around and be scared the whole time, because you just look at the numbers. It's like, it's messed up. Like you don't want to, think that you're gonna be too affected by it. But it's like you look at the numbers, it's just not there. And it's like,
Yeah.
to sit here and worry about something that you have no control over, really, unless you just stay in your house, I guess. I mean, that's just not my style. Like right now we're, headed to soccer. It's freaking, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. So it's definitely, you got to stay active. Kids are active, so there's no way that I'm not being around it. It's all around me, I'm sure.
With the bonus, and you said you're going to take some of that, invest it into your training. What have you invested in?
Just more like private training with my boxing instructor, and then really just recovery is the biggest thing. Like just simple things like making sure that my nutrition's on point, and making sure that I'm recovering from my workouts and stuff. And I think a lot of the time, whenever you you start worrying about what you spend during camp, because I'm training 10 times more than normal, and I'm also not working as much. So it's like, when you have a camp and then you have a big outcome like that, where you get the bonus and you get stuff like that, it really just allows you to have that spare time that you can't buy that. So it's nice to have a little bit extra spare time to not focus on working.
Did you go to the PI and get the test done and everything?
No, I was gonna make my way out there, but man, I have so much stuff going on. Like it's like as soon as my fight was over, then my girls, they started their soccer season. It was ramping up at the same time, so it was like as soon as I got back, there was no way I could go for a full weekend or like for a few days or whatever it was gonna take to do it. And I actually talked to him a few times about getting out there, and I was just like, dude, it's just, unless I get another fight, it's just not happening, And it'd be cool to go out there and just to do the testing and see where I'm at and stuff. But I think that I have a pretty good gauge of where I'm at, and I'm ready to go for this fight. But maybe after this fight, I get some spare time and go out there and test it out.
Did you at least get one of those rings, the Aura ring?
No, I didn't get one of those. I hear a lot about that, and maybe I'll get that. Maybe I'll get one of those just to test it out. But like, I make fun of a lot of my clients for wearing the Whoop, the watches all the time, and they're like, "Oh, my recovery's not on point." And I'm like, "Dude, just shut up! Like, just shut up and get in the damn gym." Like it cracks me up. I think if you want to do it yourself and you want to like focus on it, that's great. But like, you don't overthink it either, because there's some days where I feel like crap, and I'll go in there and I'll get the best workout of the whole month on that day. It's like, it is what it is. I wouldn't put too much focus on it myself, but I understand why people want to do it. But yeah, that's not me. I was curious about those rings. It is pretty cool.
Well, that's that old school mentality that you have. You know what I mean? Like, get your butt in the
Yeah.
gym. I don't care if you're
It is what
tired.
it is. I mean, you just like there's some days where you just don't want to go, like just
Mhm.
straight up. Like I just don't want to go some days, but you know, I'll suck it up and go, and I'll do really good. And then there's some days where I just feel like I need to take a rest, and I'll take a rest. You know.
All right, one last thing. I know you're busy right now.
No,
Your
you're good,
opponent,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Your opponent has mostly submission wins. You also have 14 finishes on the ground. Do you see
Yeah.
this fight most likely playing out on the ground and you being able to get a
No.
submission?
I think it's gonna be a Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner like
Okay.
slugfest. You know, I think that you know eventually one of us is gonna find the fight to the ground, but I think that he's gonna be like you know not rushing in for a takedown. I'm not gonna rush in for a takedown because it's not really the you want to prove yourself. It's just about giving the other person the advantage. So like if you shoot in on a shot and you don't finish it and they catch you in a front headlock, you know, this kid's got a great Doris. He's got a great Anaconda. So it's like to think that, you know, I would fail on a shot and give him the advantage of, you know, taking my back or, you know, going for a sub. You know, it's just something you gotta play it safe and, you know, figure it out. But I'm definitely going to be ready to go wherever the fight goes. If he shoots in right off the bat, then, you know, then it'll probably stay on the ground and one of us won't get up for sure. But
Pulling guard in MMA, this is something that interests me a lot about the ground game is that people say you should never do it and some people say that they don't care. What is your stance on it?
You know, I like to if I ever get stuck in guard, I usually don't even start there. But if somehow, some way, I'm getting a scramble, if I get guard, I feel pretty comfortable being there. Like I feel like the old school, like you don't want to, like whenever someone's like landing big, heavy ground and pound, it's not gonna be while they're in your guard. Like usually when someone lands really like bad ground and pound, it's when they're in half guard or maybe a little bit side control. But even side control, it's hard to land that stuff. Like half guard's where you want to be. But full guard, it's really hard to posture up and hit someone without them like pushing away and popping up, or at least creating some space. So I think that you know, if the fight goes to the ground, it's going to be definitely more grappling, and you know, someone will be looking for a finish. And I think that that's the thing is that he does have, you know, I think it's like 8-1, like 8 subs and 1 decision, or maybe he has like 7 subs and 1 knockout, 1 decision. And so, you know, he's definitely a finisher. I'm 100% going to be going for a finish, and I just feel like that's the best way to not put it in the hands of the judges, you know, and that's is to go constantly for a submission after submission, and that gives you that control, and which is huge, and you know, in myself. So.
Pick a move in the ring. You can hit me with the words you feel.